the recording and let's
G'day everyone, welcome to episode 10 of Leverage with Lewis Bell and Damien Johns. How are you, Lewis?
good, mate. 10 episodes already. Bloody hell.
Yeah, this many, 10. So,
That's right. I forgot. I need to see it. I'm a visual person, so
yeah,
it's good.
yeah, just two
Glad you did
hands,
that.
mate. Look down, it's right there. You don't even have to, it's a rainbow fact, actually. 6 plus 4 and 7 plus 3 and 8 plus 2. Happy days.
Okay, you're getting
Yeah.
away from me now.
Yeah, happy days. And look, we have a special guest tonight called Eric Cangy. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, Damon. I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Thank you for jumping on, mate. We'll go straight to you if you don't mind. Can you tell us a little
Sure.
bit about yourself, where you're from, how old you are, what your interests are, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, love to. So basically, I'm 35 years old. I'm from Sydney, Australia. Um, Basically, my background is a physio. So I've been practicing sports physio for the last, say, 10, 12 years. And now I dabble and do a lot more in the trading space.
Yeah,
So
nice.
for the transition, looking for the transition to go full-time trader.
Yeah.
That's
So,
the goal.
do you know anyone personally that trades? Like, are you friends with other people who trade, like other than the people within this group, or did you like what was your interest to get into it originally?
So originally it'd be going back to 2017. I had a mate of mine who was all about the crypto space, and he kind of introduced me to it. And I was like, nah, I don't want to get involved into this thing called Bitcoin, a coin that's made up and this and that. So didn't want a piece of it in early 2017. And he kept coming up to me, came up to me, just have a look at it. And I got into it mid 2017, and then invested for a good 6 months. And then we all know the big crash came along early 2018. That's when Bitcoin first up to 20K, and then came crashing down. So I made a good amount between mid 2017 up to the end of 2017, and then I lost quite a bit of money when the crash came because I was uneducated. I was the investor. I was the person saying I know everything, going to the moon, because you couldn't lose, right? Mid
Yeah.
2017 to 2018,
Yeah,
and then
it's the perfect time to have gotten in because like I was saying to some people last night, it went from like next to nothing to 5 grand to 10 grand, and suddenly everyone's like, "What's this Bitcoin thing?" So around
yeah,
2017 was very much a big push. If you jump on a chart and go back and have a look, you'll see that 2017 is a really nice time to get in. So that's awesome, man. But hopefully you're able to learn when to get out at the top. But if you didn't and you're still hanging on, that's cool. But and what about like what kind of trading style do you like to do? Like break and retest, or like what's kind of your favorite trade to take if you like?
Yeah, so it's changed over the years. So I've been trading now for 2 years. So after I lost that initial 2007 or 2018 bit of money, if it's that easy to lose money, surely there's got to be a way to make it back. So that's when my interest came into trading, and I was like, let's learn this. And that's when I dived in, did my own kind of education, and then found the different courses, and then jumped to MBA. And then MBA came to Elevate. So the last 2 years that has kind of evolved, the kind of trader I am. I started as a range trader. Then from a range trader, I went to breakout trader. And then from a breakout trader, I went to break and retest. Now I've been dabbling in a bit more of scalping on a 15-minute time frame.
Yeah,
So
right.
pretty much going down from your daily 4 hour, 1 hour, and then entries on my 15 minutes. So grabbing liquidity pretty much. So most recently, I've been more of a scalper, in
Yeah,
and out
right.
within a day.
So you sound like you know what you're talking about. So what would you tell someone that's starting out? Like there's a few people here that are fairly fresh to trading, and I'm sure that people will listen to this, like the multiple millions, Louis, that subscribe to our page, right? And
Oh yeah.
if you haven't, just click that red button down here and feel free to do so. But look, it's one of those things that you obviously have skill and time in the market. So what would you tell someone that's new?
Well, the biggest thing of what which I learned, it's pretty much, I think, patience alongside with journaling. Journaling is the biggest part of it. And when I mean journaling, I don't mean initially it can be overwhelming, journaling so many different coins that you're entering and not entering. I think one good thing to do is picking one coin and journaling one coin. So what I did was going to Bitcoin and literally journaling only Bitcoin. And then even the trades I didn't enter. So sometimes you just put the trades you entered and you lost or you gained, but I think it's also good to journal the trades you also didn't, and then making notes on that. And then you can then create a real good feedback and look at the end of the day to seeing what you've journaled, and then really get some good feedback on that.
Yeah,
That's, I think, for me, was the biggest learning curve, picking
yeah,
one coin and journaling all over that.
yeah, right. And did you find that that you were able to learn for free by not taking some trades and just kind of analyzing it and watching what it was doing rather than actually inserting money? Like, did you get to that point in your journey where you think, no, I'm not sure. I'll just watch. I'll just see what this coin does, and then actually kind of not necessarily journal it, but journal it in your head and in your experiences?
Yeah, definitely. I would even put a note, like a bubble note saying, see how this trade plays out. So I knew what I'm looking at. I knew kind of expectation. So alongside that, I always put what you think is going to go your bias for you, but always put what's going against you. So I learned over the years, yep, this is what could happen, but also what could happen the opposite way. And then pretty much doing a checklist and out of the bears and the bulls. And then I'd play that in my mind, like a battle between the bears and the bulls. And that whatever worked out, of course, in relating it to Bitcoin would then play out. So always having a long or a short, but at the end of the day, watching what Bitcoin was doing. And if Bitcoin was going for a short off resistance, then I'd most likely go for the short on that trade that I had. Yeah. So, yeah.
Would you go as far as to agree or disagree with the comment that a lot of people overlook what Bitcoin's doing because it's out of reach for a beginner trader on a $100 account, and therefore you kind of disregard it, and therefore you just jump on, say, a Doge or something that you can afford and you can trade for $1, and you don't really look at what Bitcoin's doing, and you just go into a mode where it's just trade the coin rather than worry about what Bitcoin's doing,
Yeah, 100%. I think that's I would call it blind trading. If you're not trading against what Bitcoin's doing, you're pretty much going in blind, because it's like trading Forex. If you're not looking at the SP 500 or the news and just trading what you see, you're kind of going in blind as well. So in regards to crypto, Bitcoin, you can call it the news if you want of all crypto, because whatever Bitcoin's doing, the others are going to follow. So to me, it's always that. And that's how I start my day. I always look at Bitcoin first and see what he's wanting to do. And then I'll analyze everything else. It's so important to look at Bitcoin always.
Yeah, sweet. All right, mate, I'm going to put you in the pressure cooker and see if you want to share a trade.
Yeah, sure. I'll just share my screen.
You need to enable it.
Sorry, I overlooked that. I was too in depth catching up with you before the call.
Too excited.
I was a little bit excited. I love seeing your face. I was down your way the other day. I was going to hit you up to see if you want to have a beer, but I want to pre-plan it so you can sort it out with your fam, because I know you're a busy boy these days.
How's that? Can you see my screen?
Yeah, that's good, mate.
Yep, get in there.
So I'll make it look more basic. So I'll pretty much just take out these lines here. So pretty much on the daily, what I'm seeing on Bitcoin, as I said, I always start with Bitcoin first. It's ranging between these two daily support and resistance lines. So the blue line for me represents daily. So daily support, daily resistance. So overall, it's in a range. And then if I really want to break it down after the daily, I then go to the 4-hour, but I'll break it. So I'll just take off. So these are my 4-hour lines here, and I'll go down to my 4-hour time frame as well. So then I'm saying, okay, what's happening between in the 4-hour? So I see price action pretty much being caught in between these 2 points here. And then at the moment, in between these 2 points, if I'm really looking at it, look, it can be quite subjective when it comes to support and resistance. But for me, what I'm seeing is pretty much it's on that resistance line, support line. I'll just go in a bit bigger so you can make more sense. So pretty much it's at that point where it's under an EMA, it's hitting that resistance line. I'm waiting for the candle to close. So the last two candles show me that buyers are back in, big green, another green. Yeah, the wicks are starting to come, sellers are trying to come back in. But for me, momentum is currently with the bulls, short term. And I'm seeing possibly another rally up before coming back down. But for me, it's a waiting game. So it's patience for me. I'm not looking into going to any trades at the moment until I get more clarity around what Bitcoin's doing. So it's kind of just in this range. So once I've looked at Bitcoin and decided, yep, okay, at the moment it's at a resistance point. However, I'm still not convinced that we could be going back down. So if I say back down to here again, we could either do that, or we could pretty much break and stay here and then come play around here for a bit and then come up this way. So for me, it's a no man's land until we make a decision. Even if you want to go down even to the lower time frame to see what that price action is doing, you could even, let's say, if I went down to the 1 hour and then even down to the 15 minutes, I can't really see it. Like you could even say, look, is Bitcoin kind of pushing a squeeze down here? But it's broken that squeeze, which could have seen a push to the upside. So for me, it could possibly be a breakdown at the moment on the 15-minute. I can see now, but at the moment, it's still above the EMAs. And so for me to see a break to the downside on the 15-minute, I would need to really break those EMAs, come back up, retest, and then go back down. So at the moment, I'm just waiting for all that to happen. That's on Bitcoin for me.
Yeah, and this is good knowledge. And just for the sake of the people who don't know what you're talking about, you're with respect to EMAs, exponential moving averages, which is the last. How have you got your settings? 50, 200?
Yeah. 21. I got 21, 50, 200, 800.
Okay, so which colors are which? Do you know
Yeah.
offhand?
Yeah, so pretty much the blue is the 50, the green is the 21, and the yellow looking one is the 200, and the purple is the 800. So at the moment, we're sitting just above the 50 as we speak now in the 1 hour, and above the 21 that's in green.
Yeah. So basically, if you're looking at this and you don't really know what EMAs are, we won't be going through them in detail tonight, but feel free to jump on and send me a message, and I can send you some stuff on it, or you can go back last week. We looked at EMAs a little bit more detail, so you can look at our episode 9 and be able to give yourself a little bit of a lesson on that. So yeah, no, that's really awesome, man. That's really good advice. Sometimes you just need to be patient, even though it looks like it's going in a certain direction. It's always good to wait. So yeah, like even it could be that you just don't trade tonight, and you wake up tomorrow morning, and then suddenly Bitcoin's moved, and you're able to be able to enter something or whatever. But you don't always need to be in a trade, and that's something that your psychology and your trading plan should state.
100%. And it's pretty much, as you said, with the patience. And for me, I used to be, when you first start, you're in so many trades, you wanted to push so many trades. But now I'd say my trading has become so basic and simple. I'm probably in 2 or 3 trades, if that, a week, just waiting. And if nothing's there, I'm not even a trade at all in the whole week. So for me, it's now waiting to see what Bitcoin does. And so now that I have an idea what may be happening or just pausing in the moment, that's when I then go across the other coins, which I'm looking at, which at the moment, I've only got another 2, which is ETC. So if I go down to the 4 hour, ETC, so I had it ranging as well. I had it going between this red 4 hour and this 4 hour down here. But at the moment, it's pretty much rejecting down at the 1 hour. So if I go down to 1 hour, my green line's been 1 hour. So at the moment, it's hit that 1 hour twice. So for me, it could have been a short, but I just wasn't convinced. Like if I was my previous days as a trader, this could have been my trade here. I'm knowing myself. So this could have been what I've been looking at, above current support, and then go back to the candle closes. This could be my trade right here.
Yeah.
But for me, I just need that more clear market structure and decision making on Bitcoin first.
Yeah.
For me, that would have been a gamble going into this trade, because Bitcoin could have possibly just broke to the upside, and then that's where I'm screwed. So at the moment, we're sitting between 2 EMAs. We're sitting in between the 50 and the 21. So again, it's squeezing. So for me, there's no decision being made at this point. I'm just waiting again patiently to see what Bitcoin does before I enter this trade.
Yeah. And what a lot of, I guess, something that's overlooked is that, I'll just annotate that for a moment. So what people might see there is a double top, but the momentum's actually this way. And you're also looking for some wicks here to confirm that the direction's going that way. So a lot of people will enter the trades without those kinds of confirmations. So make sure, guys, that in your trading plan, you've actually got a list of confirmations, and then be sure to be hitting 3 or 4 of those before you enter any trade. Some confirmations may work on one trade, but not on the other. For example, a fibs level may be a part of your confirmation for an entry point, but if it's consolidation, there is potentially no fibs, and you're looking to enter something, then maybe that fibs confirmation part in your trading plan may not be applying to that trade. So you just got to make sure that you have the right trading plan and the right confirmations to suit what you're trading. So Eric, I'll just throw to the audience. Anyone got any questions for Eric? Feel free to turn your screens on, turn your microphones on. So there you go. There's a question there that says, there's a reason why you chose the 21 instead of the round number 20.
Yeah, good question. I think it was more trial and error. So you could possibly try the 20 for me, but I did start with 10 and 20. So my first 2 emails I ever used was a 10 and a 20. But I tended to find that when I used them quite well in the 4 hour, but when I went down to the 15-minute, I found that price action was more sensitive. And as I started increasing the numbers with my EMAs, I found that a 21 was a target. Well, not a target, but it was an EMA which kind of followed a lot more accurately with the flow of the market structure. So down to the 15-minute, I use a 21. But that's why I've chosen. I mean, look, there may not be a massive difference, but I found to me, because back testing is huge. When I back tested the 21 EMA, I found that price action would hit that 21. And I mean, when I say hit, literally just a slight nip, and that was good enough for me to then make the next move. So that's why I kind of went more towards the 21 than the 20. But look, 21 could be a better one for yourself if you're finding that that's what you've back tested with or you've used more. But at the end of the day, it's about what works well for you and why and what you've back tested to now make it more accurate. So that's why I chose it. It was more accurate for me going down.
Sorry, man. 21's also 3 weeks on a daily.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's something to consider as well. Gabriella has asked, is it a divergence that is in that little call out box? Is that referred to your RSI divergence? What is that?
Yeah, good question. So basically, if I go down to the 4 hour, if I just double click here, I found a divergence between this point here and that point there. So yeah, it was pretty much a divergence from the down point. Look, depending on your trading style, that could have been an entry point with divergence, depending on how you trade. But that's why I kind of was waiting for market structure or price action with Bitcoin, because I could see that divergence happening on the CCI that I use. And then pretty much it literally went up against the 4 hour divergence on the CCI. CCI and RSI, I mean, depending, I find they're quite similar, but I tend to like to use CCI.
You're right. All right. Anyone else got any questions? Well, Eric's got the floor. Obviously, lots of experience there. And look, man, we are so grateful to have you as our co-host tonight. So if you and feeling like there's something you can jump in at any time with Lewis and myself, I mean, that goes to the whole floor, but particularly you, Eric, tonight, as the guy in the cockpit with us, feel free to contribute, my friend. And thank you so much for putting the time forward. I appreciate it.
Love it. Anytime. Appreciate your work. Loving your work, both yourself and Lewis. But yeah, love.
What do you reckon, Louis? I'm loving your work, man.
I'm loving mate. I'm loving your work. But
You're
yeah,
not
Eric,
working too hard tonight. Are you working
that was awesome,
hard,
bro.
hardly working? You're just sitting there.
Oh, mate, I'm spectating.
Give me something.
Just seeing how a professional does it, mate.
Oh.
How can I compete with that?
Eric. Oh, gotcha. Hey, all right. So while I've got the floor, because Lewis doesn't want to do anything tonight. So
no, mate, I'm ready to go.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, hang on. Do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first? You choose.
I can have a quick rundown, mate. You've done a lot of talking, so
you're on.
All right.
Let's go.
All right. I'll do a quick run over of what I'm seeing in the market. So very similar to what Eric's just shared. So Bitcoin's sitting at this level. So it looks like a resistance level to me. And Damo and I were sort of talking about this quickly before the call started. There's a lot of really clean bearish setups out in the market at the moment. And if you look at like your watch list where they're all green, like sort of anywhere between sort of 4-5% up to like 8%, that sort of indicates that, you know, potentially we're in that range where we're due for a pullback. So everything's looking really, really good for shorts, which scares me a bit. So what I'm sort of expecting is a bit of a liquidity grab on Bitcoin. Like I'm bearish, and I think we're going to have a continuation down, but I really want to see what we do at this level, because I really suspect we've seen so much manipulation in the last few months in the bear market that, you know, any obvious move like that is always preceded by some sort of liquidity grab. So if it's looking like a really good long setup, you'll always have that big dump right before that big pump. And same thing, like when we look at this, like we're retesting that resistance level. Lots of bearish momentum. Like look at the size of this bearish move down here. We've had virtually no buy recovery, big bearish move. We've had a big green candle here, but realistically, like on the scale of like bullish move in relation to the bearish move, it's not really selling me. Any sort of bullish move would have to be like a break above the EMAs, above that sort of level that I'm looking for liquidity grab, which is like this whole zone up here, these sort of wicks up here where we've had resistance before. But yeah, Bitcoin was flowing up nicely in this channel. We dumped that channel, and now we're below that again. We're well and truly below our EMAs. If we have a liquidity grab, I expect it to be somewhere around that sort of 17,300 level. So, like, you know, those big dirty wick candles where they go up and down and within like a 1 hour, 4 hour session, something like that before like a continuation further down.
Can I just highlight something on your chart there that there's a massive big push. If you look at where your mouse is now, that box just below that, if you look at the wick off that in the most recent price action and the push that followed it, there was a really strong bullish push, which shows that the buyers are there. So when you are charting, you guys, make sure that you're putting a little bit of a call out note or something on that zone, just to make sure that you are kind of respecting that zone should price fall again, because that's where the buyers have come in. So potentially the buyers could be sitting there again if it does come back that way. So when you're looking at potentially your shorts later on, if it does what Lewis, Nostradamus, Confucius, Bell has predicted there, then what you're looking at is you are looking at the respect of that point there. But if you're looking for a long-term take profit, you may, get shown up if you're looking to push directly through that. So and if you're looking at the chart and you're wondering, but why has it dropped? And then suddenly it's just teetering like this. It's because that is a strong point of buyer support previously. So it may not stay there, but you need to understand why the market moves like it does and why it stops where it does, or at least slows where it does. And usually that's where previous market structure is sat. So right now, Lewis is saying, look, I'm overall bearish, but right now there's a bullish push. Those candles are telling that story, and that's what Lewis is picking up there.
Yeah. And you see, you can see the volume. Oh, also, thank you for using my correct title, Dave.
No problem,
Damo,
sir.
I appreciate that. You can see there's a big volume spike as well on that big green candle that we had. That matches up nicely. So exactly as Damo said, there's an indication that there's a lot of buyers at that level. When price hit that level before as well, we had a big push up. Same thing as this level here, which is why we're using that as resistance currently. Every time sort of price went around that zone, it's bounced off it, continued up, and that's why we're sort of looking at that as a potential reversal area at the moment. Because if what that says is if it doesn't push up again when we pass through that level, it shows us that the buyers are exhausted. There's no more buy orders at that level, so potentially we're looking at going to that downside. So.
Yeah.
But that's the sort of scenario that I'm expecting. I'm just going to watch because, I could be wrong, and we could just dump straight from this level. And there's a lot of nice sort of short setups out there. As I said, we've had a bit of a pump in the market. There's a lot of green in the watch list, which indicates we're due for a bit of a pullback. But whether that's going to happen tonight or not, or whether it's potentially the midweek reversal scenario that we always have, where we have a bit of a move on a Monday, which was our bearish move, our bearish sort of push down, and then a bit of a reversal later in the week. Who knows? We just have to sort of have a bit of patience. I'm definitely in a bit of a no trade zone at the moment until I see what happens around this level. So.
But Lewis and Eric, I'm a new trader, and I'm thinking, you know what?
No, you're not.
I'm here to make money, and I don't want to be patient. I reckon that this is going to go in this direction. What advice are you throwing to me as a new trader?
Turn off your computer and go and learn how to cook a delicious recipe for your partner.
Yeah, right.
Something, I don't know, because what a liquidity grab is all right. Let's make this look really short, and then the new trader jumps in and goes sweet, I'm in. That's a nice short setup. I've got my stop loss above that resistance level. If I want to be safe, I'll put it above a few wicks back here or whatever, and then that's exactly what that's what the market makers want. They're like, okay, sweet, all of this liquidity is on the table now. I can automatically make money just by pumping the market and close and taking all of this liquidity where all of these stop losses are sitting. They want to induce you into positions by making it look like obvious setups. So that's
exactly what Lewis is saying. It's what's obvious. Whatever, just think how everyone else is if something looks too obvious, it's pretty much too good to be true. And that's what the market maker is trying to do, is induce you exactly what Lewis is saying. So that's why patience is a big part of it.
Yeah.
One thing that I did see once was a good way to trade is to enter your position where your stop loss ordinarily would be. So, look, Brody in the chat pretty much exactly documented exactly what I just said. What a coincidence.
Wow.
So
He copied that off you, Damo, just for the record.
it's actually
You said it before he
it's
did.
text script that comes up with his name to make him look smart. So what you've got there is, so you can actually enter your position where that stop loss is, in which case you've got a much stronger position, a greater stop loss, which allows for that wick up, and you've still got your 3-to-1 trade. So start experimenting with that as well, and make sure that you are looking at those kinds of things. And sorry, I just read Brody's thing in the chat. He's got, bald people think alike. Oh wait, I have hair. Yeah, but not on your face, you clown. So
Children, please.
what I encourage you to do is just have a look at where you're entering, and don't enter too early. Be patient with your entries, and make sure that where you are entering will allow for some preemptive move that you might think that the market makers might make, especially when Bitcoin's at a point of indecision, which it is now. So if Bitcoin's hovering around a support or resistance line or zone, then that's kind of the time where you want to enter, but you've just kind of got to wait for those confirmations. So yeah.
A good point what Brady was saying too, a trick that I was taught back in the day was, your stop loss and your take profit always need to be where they need to be. That can't change it, but you can change your entry point. Like, you can put your entry point a bit higher or lower, but you can never change your stop loss and your take profit. They have to be where they have to be. The only thing that can move is your entry point.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, definitely. That's good, man. That's good, Lewis. I like that. It's very simple.
But yeah, there's a couple of short setups that I'm watching. I think I've got about 5 that I found. Some of them not that great, but I'll just run through them really quick. Like 1 inch, and this is sort of what I'm looking for too, is like a little bit of a deeper retracement before I get my entry. So some of these aren't quite ready yet, but stuff like 1 inch still in trend. That's a terrible trend. What was I doing there? Was I drunk? So still in trend. I'm waiting for a bit of a deeper recovery there before an entry, which sort of aligns with like my speculation that Bitcoin's going to have a little bit of a pump. Like if Bitcoin has a bit of a sharp move up, then you get those entries, those high entries. It aligns with those previous levels. Like we've had a bit of a double top. This is on the 4-hour. We've had a double top there at the moment, but there's still not enough there based off that. Like it's not a significant enough level for me. I expect that sort of deeper retracement. Sell as well, like we're at one of those sort of strong areas, but same thing, like we need a little bit more of a deeper recovery before we get that entry for that continuation down. Aligns with the trends on a lot of them, aligns with fibs on a lot of them. We're not sort of quite at those levels yet, hence why I'm saying it's a bit of a no trade zone for me.
Yeah,
because a lot of these things are sort of sitting in between levels where I'm not really interested. So
that's a pretty neat channel too. If you draw a trend line on the underside of that as well, that's pretty solid little channel, that one.
Something like that sort of thing.
Yeah. So yeah, it's one of those ones that you can actually trade the channel. So that's another thing you might put on your learning list. So trading it from where it bounces on the bottom to where it might bounce up, so you can kind of predict market movement in that respect. I mean, obviously every trade's a risk, and this is not financial advice at all, but you want to be making sure that you are considering various patterns that are being formed in and among the trades that seem obvious, like, oh, it's just a trend line, support, resistance, and maybe there may be a channel that you can pick up, or a flag, or a triangle, or whatever. So yeah, sorry to interrupt 100%. You.
No, you're right, mate. I always welcome your input. It's always gold. Potentially comp, not a fan of this one though. The more I looked at it, the more I really didn't like that. Like I think that'd be a level that I'd trade it from, where it's got this significant amount of support, like this whole zone through here, but not anywhere down here. I was sort of looking at it, but I'm not really impressed. There's nothing there I really like, so scratch that one. Dash, this is a funny one because it's still in trend. It's still in trend, looking pretty bullish, but we've just sort of lost this support level here, and we're just sort of tracking along below it. Like it's not looking strong at all. Still overall in a downtrend, but yeah, A safe confirmation for me on this one would be the break of the trend. So a trade on this one would be like we bounce off that level, we break that trend, and then get the entry off that trend line for the continuation down to that support. You could manage at that level and then look, even deeper for more profits potentially. So
can I just get you to zoom in on Dash and go right into the current position of the coin on the market? If you're looking to short Dash on a 1 hour time frame, if you don't mind, you could be. So go into the 1 hour.
is that close enough? Is that what you want to?
Is that because I wear glasses?
Is that what you want to see?
Are you disrespecting me? Are you having a go at the people out there that wear glasses? Come on.
Hey, I'm supposed to wear glasses. I just choose not to.
Oh, really? Right. Maybe you can't.
That's why I can't find trades. Can't see what I'm doing.
I lost my glasses the other day. I was so dirty. I had a good time doing it though. So what?
That's good.
Yeah. So what you've got is So if you actually zoom in so we can see that candle.
Oh yeah, okay.
Sorry,
You're
mate.
Get right in there. No, you're right, mate. You're right.
So what you might be thinking there is that you are getting a bearish engulfing candle off some wicks, but it's actually a doji price. So I was looking at that thinking, I wonder if that would be an entry like from resistance down to support. But the reality is once you chart that up, there's actually no real position there. Like if you're a 3-to-1 trader, there isn't a 3-to-1 kind of trade there right now. So the old me or the new trader might have gone, it's going to fall because of that candle, and you enter it, and then suddenly it just goes back the other way, especially when you disregard that trend line coming up that Lewis has got, that blue one there. So you're actually kind of waiting to reposition that. So sometimes when you zoom right in on a coin versus when you zoom right out on a coin, you're going to pick up two different perspectives. So just make sure that when you are charting and trading, you are taking into account the bigger picture as well as the current narrative that it's writing. So there's two stories at play, both the short-term chapter and the long-term book. So you've got to take that into consideration.
Powerful words, Damo.
Oh yeah, I'm the analogy king. I love it.
Mate, that's beautiful.
Like that bloke Joel that we know, he calls himself, other king, but I'm the analogy king because it's easy. Can talk shit with anyone.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So yeah, you've just got to take it into account. But thanks for having a crack at me for being serious. No problem. It's good. It's good.
I love it.
Yeah.
And yeah, EOS was another one, but same thing. Like I expect like I expect a deeper recovery if I was going to short this. Like, it's a much sort of stronger level through this zone here. That's where I'd be looking for an entry and something like that. But all of these things, as I said earlier, they're all in a channel and they're all in a bit of a no trade zone to me. Like the fact that it's sort of bouncing off these levels here, it's not passing that level there is sort of, and it's just set like a lower high as well. It's just a bit too obvious to me. I think that's why I think we're just going to have like a bit of a push up, just to grab that liquidity on these sort of moves before we go down. So. So there's a few there that I'm watching. There's nothing I'm looking at on longs at the moment. Not really interested in anything long. So, just
that's
Brody.
Are you?
Mate, this is a kids channel, mate.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Right. But anyway, that's me, mate.
Just because we've been on live calls in the last couple of weeks and he couldn't be bothered. But anyway, that's the story for another day. So what you've got is the situation where you've got some coins that are basically sitting in and among that resistance point. So some of the coins are actually hang on. Some of the coins are actually sitting in a point where they're below anything prior. So if you zoom out, some of the coins, the current position of the price action is below where it's ever been, which is actually a bit of a dangerous position to be in because you don't know how hard it can fall. So
something like that,
yeah. So what you've got to kind of be careful of is if you do take a short, that where do you put your take profit, and that's a difficult one to determine. If you're more experienced, you might just take it and leave the take profit not there, but that's obviously not recommended if you're new. But if you're new, you may want to look at coins that actually have something to the left, you know, look at the current position and make sure that you are in fact comfortable taking the trade, not just zooming in and seeing a shorting opportunity and then kind of trying to take too big a bite of the cherry. So you've just got to be a little bit careful of that one. But yeah, that's just something to consider. So Lewis, do you want me to throw a couple up?
Get up there, mate. Kick me off. Get into it.
Let's go. Just make sure I share the right screen or I might get in trouble. Never know what you might find. So hang on, I just got to find you all again because it doesn't matter. So you guys can see my screen, I hope. So I've just kind of jumped in and there's just a couple here. The orange is basically my code to see where it goes. So this is a position that I've drawn up to potentially look at where entry points could be. So I'm just kind of playing with this before and looking at, you know, drawing 3-to-1 positions across the 3 positions to see where, you know, the coin may go and the price might go, just to see, you know, do you enter here, do you enter here, do you enter here? So kind of preempting that, like Lewis has said. So that's something that I've just kind of got on an orange list, which means I'll wake up tomorrow and have a look and see what it's doing. If any of you guys want any of these shared, feel free to kind of throw the code of the coin or something in or screenshot it, or I'm happy to share it in our chat. So, but obviously time is of the essence, so I've got to kind of whiz through a little bit. Some of these are kind of propping their head up above resistance, which I'm kind of half interested in to see where it will go. And some of them are actually sitting above the 50 EMA and some of them are sitting below. So if you can compare the last one to being below to this one being above, then that's a kind of slightly way to look at that coin. The atom here, again, that's another one that's just kind of up and above, and I don't know why I highlighted that one. Anyway, we'll skip across that one. I can't remember why by just looking at it, should have written myself a note. This one here is kind of consolidating at resistance, so that kind of sparked my interest a little bit. That one there, just say, okay, where could this go? So this is why this one's red. So it's one that I'm going to look at as a short potential, but if it goes long, I don't have any money in it at the moment, so I'm just going to see kind of what that's doing. But you can see that it's kind of come back to this line, which is actually respected historically. So if I'm zoomed in, what I'll always do is say, okay, well, what's the current market structure and where's the support or resistance? And then I'll kind of put it on there. And what I'll do is I'll zoom left and confirm that what I'm seeing is actually in the right position. And you know, chances are that on that one it is. So I'm looking at that one as a possible push off, but it'll depend on the candle that actually pushes it up or down to whether or not I'm going to enter something like that. Badger looks exactly the same. It's pretty much side by side, AVAX and Badger. It's pretty much the exact same trade. So I actually drew the position on that one to see if there was something in it. And there was, but like I said, I'm just going to kind of wait and see what happens. It may come and retest again. So I'm not kind of urgently entering anything. And like Lewis said, this would indeed come up further and then come back down, or, you know, you just never know. So just whipping through a couple more. Similar to this one, I kind of looked at this one, but it's kind of dropping. So looking at, is this coming back? But it's, again, hanging around that resistance. Another one that's kind of just had that really bullish push and it's just slowed. So it's another one, like it's just gone up there and now it's just kind of back to where it was. And another one where I'll just go, okay, what's it doing? Don't know why I had that on there. Maybe it's just one from old. This one, oops. So that was the one that Lewis, that was similar to the one that Lewis just looked at with sell. Like, have you missed the entry? If you're trying to enter now, like, is the entry here? And potentially it's already gone. So just be conscious of not FOMOing in when you've missed that entry. So just something to consider. Yeah, we looked at Dash. That's that's where I got Lewis to zoom in and say, is the entry miss? But you've got that trend line coming through here. So, the position may look more something like that, which then might respect that week. It might not. So you have to redraw that position to say, okay, that's something to consider. I should have said before Lewis and I started sharing too, that you should be having your trading view open and kind of highlighting these coins that we're looking at, because you may just want to go back and do your own analysis on them. So
Yeah. Just flag them. That's the best way to do
so
it.
you just jump in here and flag them if you can. If you've got, I don't know what level of trading view allows you to have multiple, but you kind of want to come up with a color code. I personally use orange for check tomorrow. Red is a short, green is a long. And, if there's something else, I'll use just a different code or a color to, maybe it's a blue one. So what I do is I actually look at what Lewis trades live tonight. So I'm running 4 screens here, trying to run a chat, and people are talking to me on Messenger, and I've got the live thing going on. But what I'm doing is I'm just quickly making the coins that Lewis is charting and talking about blue, and I'll go in and kind of listen to what Lewis is watching, and I'll jump on YouTube and rewatch what Lewis has said, and then I'll chart it alongside him because I don't have the time to do it, but you guys might. So make sure you're using those opportunities on the live call, whether it's us or Joel or Brody or Jason or Phil or whoever you prefer to listen to. Make sure you're doing that. This one here kind of caught my attention because there's a fair triangle being formed here on Dora. Not really sure which way it's going to go, but it's very much hovering around this black line, which is support / resistance. So there's a triangle coming. You can retrospectively bring that triangle right back and it will still look the same. That trend line is very strong. And what I like to tell people is that you don't, obviously a trend line needs 3 touches, but when you're looking at an EQ zone on a support or resistance, you can actually find an EQ zone sometimes on a trend. So don't disregard that skill as well that you can develop by just looking through a couple of things.
I'm going to call that go back to Dora. I'm going to call that sort of chart a porcupine, because look at the wicks. There's so many wicks.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's full of wicks. So
volatile. That's crazy.
Coins like Ape and Dora and those little kind of meme kind of coins, that they're always very volatile. But you can catch them when they break out one way or the other.
Yeah.
Volatility. That's another one that looks exactly the same as the others, and another one that looks exactly the same as the others. So just to summarize, if you want to take a screenshot of that red list, you can. So feel free to do that. That's just kind of coins that I see currently down to about the F in the alphabet. Obviously, if I'm doing too many, we'll be here until midnight, which I probably will be anyway. But look, it's one of those ones that you can have a look at them at your leisure, or you can jump on YouTube tomorrow and rewatch this, and you're able to kind of get them. Yeah, Gabriella, there is a poor recovery, but because of the fact that Bitcoin's sitting where it is, you just don't want to be too confident that it's going to go. It's definitely going to go one way or the other. You just don't know, so you've got to be a little bit careful. You might be thinking horseshoe, because that's kind of the structure that it could be making on some instances, but you've always got to look, is Bitcoin at a point of interest? Is Bitcoin at a point where the market makers could just kind of do this one and a little bit and just kind of throw us a bit of a curveball, and then you lose out. So it's just something that you've really got to make sure that you're doing all of the analysis on a bigger perspective. All right. That's enough from me. Anyone got anything that they want us to look at out there in the field? Feel free to turn your screens on, throw it at us, ask us if you want us to chart something. You're welcome to ask me to do it or Lewis to do it if you like one style more than the other. But yeah, anyone?
Just while we're waiting, I'll just keep going until.
Feel free to throw something in the chat if you're not confident to say so, and I'll keep an eye on that while Lewis weaves his magic.
I can swing through my list if you want, Damo, if no one else wants to.
Yeah, that'd be great. So Lewis, you want to throw it out there, or you want to quickly talk through this before Jack jumps in?
Yeah, I'll talk through this real quick, and then Jack, you can chart it up, mate. You can show us how it's done. So just a few things like, so DXY, not really doing much. It's still sort of below this resistance level. It's still looking pretty bearish, which is expected with all the inflation stuff. I was having a look at like previous Decembers. So these are like Decembers from 2021, 2020. There's not a lot of volatility in this month historically. So I don't expect any sort of major moves to happen over like the next sort of 10 days in any of these sort of markets. So just, yeah, cruising sideways because of that. Gold as well. Gold's at a really interesting level for me. It's just can't get past this resistance level around sort of 1800. I've been waiting for a short entry on it for a long time, but it's just not making up its mind yet. And it won't, like if DXY is just going sideways, gold won't make up its mind yet either. But the only thing is because of the correlation, if DXY continues to dump the way that it is, I'd expect gold to be bullish as opposed to bearish. So it could sort of throw that trade out the window, but that's a bit of a long term of that one that I'm looking at. And yeah, the other big one, like S&P, is still in trend, still bearish. If we were going to sort of break that trend, we would have done it on this push up. We would have set new market structure pushed out here, but we didn't. Still bearish. DXY dropping. Markets are going to continue dropping. Share markets are probably going to continue hurting. Like I sold out of a lot of positions last week because I'm expecting a bit of recession and that sort of stuff next year. So I'm just expecting everything to continue down. It's all just looking really bearish. So yeah, Bitcoin dominance is just going sideways. It's not really doing anything special, sort of holding between that sort of 40-45% level as it always does. And our total crypto market cap as well is sort of just dropped below that level, and it hasn't made a recovery yet. So I'm still sort of very bearish. I'm just bearish on everything still. Just call me a big bear, you know. But yeah, that's basically my broader analysis of the market. Currencies are really interesting to watch at the moment. I hit a really what was it? I hit a really good short on the US dollar yen pair. This got this big candle here because it had I was watching it on, was it 4 hour? Yeah, it just could not get past that resistance level. This really simple trade, like it just bounced off that level multiple times, retest, and then there was a lower high market structure. So there was a nice sort of entry there as soon as we sort of rejected off that level, caught that one. And I think I took profit about this level here, this sort of previous structure, but
that's a cracker. You should have stayed in.
Out of that, but I should have stayed in, mate. Should have, could have.
Just while I'm on that topic, the psychology of staying in once a trade goes, you've really got to get to a point, guys, where if you look at a trade and you go, you know what, I got my 3-1, but I could have got a 10-1. You've just got to be at peace with that. You've just got to really get into your brain and your psychology and your trading plan that you should have a point in your trading plan that once the trade is over, the trade is over, and that's it. If you feel that there's a position to re-enter the trade based on new analysis, not continued analysis, then by all means, feel free to reassess that situation, but you don't want to be kicking stones. I've got a guy in my group that likes to go, oh, I should have done that, or I could have done that, or I missed that. And it's like, well, you know what? You didn't, and you just got to get on with it. And like the more that's kind of happened, the less I'm hearing from that person that he or she, I won't kind of pigeonhole, he or she is actually okay with the fact that they've won. They may not have won $20 and they've won 15 instead, but you know what? Happy days. Green is green is green, right? So you've just got to make sure that, Lewis could have won probably double than what he did there, just on a quick glance at that size of that wick that he missed. Just kidding, man.
But I'm not upset about it at all. I'm completely fine with it.
Counselling. But you've really got to just kind of laugh at yourself and say, you know what? The analysis was good. You did the right thing. And maybe next time have the confidence to stay in a little bit longer, or if you don't and you're just sticking to your 3-1, then good. No issues whatsoever with that.
Definitely one of the things I
Yeah.
struggled with for a very long time was
Yeah.
like, oh, I can get more profit out of this. I'm going to stay in the trade, and then it reverses and I get stopped out. That was like,
Yeah.
I did that for so long at the start. Just,
Yeah.
looking back, so much profit I missed out on. Just, but
Yeah,
it's
me
just,
too.
it's just greed. It's greed. That's all it
Yeah.
is. Like,
Me too. And it's one of those things that, even when the coin comes close to your take profit, you go, oh, I just want it to go that little bit further, and it just pulls your pants down and it turns around the other way. It's like, you know what? If you would have just taken it when you like, sometimes you can look at your OKX rocket and go, that's a really good trade. And then suddenly, next minute, you got nothing left in your
yeah,
trade
yeah.
because it's stopped out. What you've got to do is kind of make sure that you are in fact doing the position and being happy with when you're exiting, and it doesn't necessarily need to hit that bottom line for you to actually do it. Jesse, you've got in the chat there, my friend, that you want us to go through putting on a short on OKX. I've actually got a leverage video prior that's done that. So what I'll do is I'll send you a Facebook message if you don't mind, and give you a link to and tell you where in that video it is. So you're able to look at that at your leisure. So I'll help you out, mate. Just if you can just send me a quick message via Facebook just to prompt me to remind me for when I get off this, because obviously my head's in this space. So I'm happy to do that for you a bit later on.
Just say you're getting old, mate. Just say you're getting old.
That's the fact.
It's easier.
So look, let's stop talking rubbish and get Mr. Sapphire NFT gun Jack Lewis. Let's chat, Jack.
Okay. Well, thanks for your hangouts and these calls. I think it's super important. People get on them, especially our new people. It's the wealth of knowledge that people bring, like Eric. Awesome, he's stepping up, mate, and bringing it to the team. Love that, man. And thanks, Lewis and Damo as well, for putting this together, like out of goodness of your hearts for the rest of us. So I appreciate that. And this week I've really put in a bit of work. I've been a bit slack recently on the charts myself, but Damo's been doing a few late night hangouts, keeping me up to some ungodly hours. But anyway, it's been awesome.
Like I say, Jack, I've got to be there. You volunteer to be there, my friend. Hey, can I just pause you? And I just asked Jesse to send me a message. He just sent me a message, and you know what he said? You're getting old, mate. That was it. That was his prompt. So thanks, Lewis.
I like you, Jesse. Well done, mate.
Yeah. Thanks, Jesse. So so Jesse, I know that I said I'd help you, but I'm not sure I will now. No, kidding. I got you, pal. Righto, Jack. Sorry, I digress.
No, that's all good. So anyway, this week I've been charting up a little bit, and I'll share my screen.
Hey, Jack, I asked you earlier if you're going to do some NFT stuff. Are you going to have a look at that while you got the floor?
Yeah, I can do that.
All right, so let's do that. And then I think our main man, well, maybe not our main man, but one of our guys that we like to call our friend, called Brody, I think wants to share something he mentioned in the chat. So it's worth hanging around for, guys. So maybe another 10, 15, 20 minutes and we'll wrap things up. But we'll give Jack and Brody the opportunity to share what they want to share. So looking forward to this. Two Sapphires. Lewis, how privileged are we to have like monarchy with us tonight?
I feel like I'm in a jewelry store, mate.
I'm like a little bit nervous with these two guns online at the moment. I'm like starting to shake a little bit. I might have to go get myself a little sneaky glass of wine. Okay, Jack.
Everywhere I look, I just see sparkles.
We've got our fierce leader in here as well, hiding in the black somewhere down the bottom there.
Lurking.
Lurking. Yeah, that's it. Cool. Same sentiment. All day I've been watching the charts, watching Bitcoin sitting at that resistance level, and just bouncing around here. So I haven't put any trades on, which is big for me. I would have FOMO'd in more into trades recently, but being very, very good and trying to wait for those confirmations before actually doing it. So AVE is one I've been looking at. It's sitting, there's a little zone here. I might have missed it already on the drop on this, but that was one that was just a range trade, basically, just waiting for that. We've had the tops here. I think it's starting to see that drop down now, so probably missed that one.
Jack, on that one there, mate, I'd probably recommend drawing a bit of a rectangle. See that they've got those 4 wicks there to the left. It's probably worth just throwing a rectangle on that, just to kind of have a bit more of a thicker resistance line for yourself, just to kind of consider that as another point of interest. If you have, did you say you'd enter that trade or not?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
I haven't entered any trade.
So if it comes back up, have a look at what it does in relation to that purple box. Because if you are entering that trade, I'd probably wait for another retest if I was you, because you may have just missed your entry. Because if you actually have that as a 3-to-1 and you've not entered it yet, so it'd be worth you waiting for that to come up. And again, another psychological trade plan thing is that if you do miss it at that point, you've just missed it, and you just need to move on from it. There's another wave. If you're a surfer, there's another wave. You'll catch the wave eventually. You'll be sweet.
Yeah, that's it. And I think a lot of these, because I've charted them up earlier today, I might have missed the entry on them, but it's good, at least we can go back and say, well, this is what I thought I was going to do, and I was just waiting for confirmations. If you didn't get the confirmations, but the trade played out, just have a look around it, I think. Link as well, it's pushed up above where I thought it was going to go, but it's also had a lot of indecision in here as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see this come back down. I still, again, haven't entered this trade. This one was interesting. This is XTZ. It's sitting in this range, basically, and I don't think there's any previous data. I think we're at all-time lows right here. Yeah. So
just depending on that, like just depending what exchange they like initially launched on and that as well. If you potentially looked up like a Binance chart, there could be more data that could give you indications to other levels, or like a Bitmart or one of those exchanges that's been around a lot longer. If you're really interested in trading a coin like that that's on OKX that doesn't have that previous history, then you could potentially find that on another exchange's chart. So just something to consider.
Yeah. So it's just respecting that channel again here, I think. So I would take it, probably look for at least somewhat of a take profit here, and then maybe ride it down to somewhere here, as well as look at.
I like that you've drawn a channel, but the concern that I have with your channel is that there's not 3 touches on the bottom part. So I think your channel may be a little bit too generously thick. You really, if you're looking at a channel, you're really looking at 2 trend lines that create a parallel shape, and that one doesn't really do that. So just be careful that if you're looking for where it will drop to, you may be overly taking too big a slice of the pie, because you're the bottom end of the channel. Like if you hover over the channel, you'll see a little white dot come up in the middle of it. Bring that up and see what it looks like. I think it's and even on the top, you've got 2 touches, maybe 3, depending on which kind of way you're looking at it. But you just want to be careful that is in fact a channel, because it just may be kind of spreading out. So just be a bit cautious about where you're trading that one to and from. And I'll look, you might be right and I might be wrong. And I do hope I am and you are right. But it's one of those things that you've just got to be a little bit careful.
XMR as well. I was almost going to take this trade, but I waited, and it's pushed through this support this resistance, and it's probably come back down. So I'll reassess this one. But
Patience saved you a stop loss there.
Yeah.
That's why waiting is key.
SNX as well, just ranging in here. I think Blake put people in the chat earlier today.
I was actually going to look at people, but I forgot about it while I was charting up, because I got talking to a couple of my team members. But you have you copied what he's done there?
I copied no, I didn't. I did it myself.
Yep.
So there's a downtrend here.
Is he on? Is Blake on? Was it Blake that did it? Is he on here? Blake, are you there, mate? No, probably not.
No, it's not.
Okay, carry on.
Yeah, so it's just that downward trend that it was coming up to earlier when I was charting this up. So we're looking, the push-off still, it's undecided, I guess, on what it's doing.
Yep. You can see there, though, you got a nice wick to the top. So make sure that you set an alarm in 26 minutes when that candle closes, just to see what it's doing, and then your analysis is one step closer to being solid. You know, you've just got to make sure that you are indeed waiting for that candle close to look at that. So, I mean, there's a green candle to the left of it. There's a possible hammer on the one that it is, but it's still not convincing me that it's going to go short based on the two candles prior. So just be conscious of that one. You've also got that trend line playing the game. You've got a resistance line that's kind of all meshing into one. So it's one of those ones that you definitely want to have on your watch list, but you just want to make sure you're entering at the right time. Yeah,
correct. This was the one that we did in our late night hangouts. Was speaking about. This is that kind of horseshoe play we've seen here. And this was a short that we were talking about, this little one here.
Yeah, and it worked.
And it worked, which was fine. And this larger one was the one that I was initially going to do.
Yeah.
Try to take it back down to finish off that horseshoe effect there. And if I had taken that, it would have played out as well.
Yeah, nice.
And now, respecting that downward trend, we've also come up again and hit it and pushing back off of it. I probably missed this entry now to come back down, but I could readjust this as well, probably bring this down possibly to look at entering it, but might have just missed that one. I think sell is what you just charted up to. So this earlier today, before I was looking somewhere around here, these two obviously weighed me out of anything I was going to do at the time, but it kind of got to that bottom trend line and pushed straight out of that downward trend. So
yeah. Yeah, you probably missed that one now. So it's worth probably removing that position box and like just reassessing it completely.
Yeah.
Because that would have been a winning trade based on the position of it, but now as a result of it being 12 hours old and retrospective, you kind of want to remove that and reassess.
Yeah. Cool. So that's really it for my trades for today.
Yeah. So yeah, Brody's just meant, like, Brody, are you saying what are the EMAs doing on Jack's charts? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, just on people. Go back to people, Jack, and put on your 4 EMA. Yep. All right. So that's something to be, I mean, I don't know if you trade with EMAs or not, but that's something to be conscious of as well. It's it's coming up to that downtrend, but it's also broken past the 50 EMA. I think that's your 50. Is the purple the 50?
Yeah.
It's broken past the 50. So you really, for me, to solidify that short, I want a rejection from the trend and I want it to close back below the 50. So it sort of skews your risk to reward a little bit, but it makes it a hell of a safer trade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys that aren't using EMAs, you really need to start to learn to use EMAs, because it's, like I said last week, you're seeing price movement change direction between support and resistance zones. You're probably wondering why. It could be that there's previous structure there, back to the left. But the chances are, if you just turn on your EMAs, and I'm happy to, I've got a couple of people actually already messaged me on the chat to say that can they hook me in with the leverage episode that we talked about it, which I actually think was episode 9, just off the top of my head. It was last week, Louis. Do you remember?
Yeah, I think it was last week we
I
had
think
a
it was last
discussion
week,
about
but
them.
I've got a couple of people. So feel free to jump on Facebook and just send me a quick message if you want me to send you the actual link and the time of when it was. I'm more than happy to do that. But we'll look at EMAs a little bit more as time goes on, and you're obviously hearing more about it through our calls that over the last 10 weeks. So just make sure that you are learning that skill.
Just another tool you can add to your toolkit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe you don't like trading with them, but I mean, yeah, maybe you do. It's just another thing to have up your sleeve.
So, Jack, while you're there, mate, I realise that we're going on, and I appreciate everyone staying on, but there's two probably fairly decent chunks of information that are about to come your way. Jack's just going to do a quick 5 minutes on using a wallet to mint NFTs, and then Brody's going to jump on, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, cool. I'll quickly share my screen.
You jumping on, Brody? What? Miss your face, brother.
So this is just a little segment on the NFTs. There's been quite a few questions, obviously coming up to tonight. The reflection.
We lost him.
Oh, hang on.
Just a bit of lag, I think.
Jack?
Close off the Call of Duty, man. You got too much things.
Are you there, Jack? Jack!
Jack!
I'll never let go, Jack.
Don't go.
I'll never let go.
This is like the final episode of the season in Neighbours. Jack!
There's room on the door, man. There's room on the door.
There's room for two people on that door. It's always pissed me off. It's always been a pet peeve of mine. They both got to lift. Easy. Anyway.
While Jack decides whether or not he's there, maybe we'll throw to Brody. So, Brody, you ready to go, mate? And we'll come back to
be
Jack.
really quick. This is just something that I wanted to point out, and it's sort of before I start, can I just say you guys are absolutely legends for doing this every single week. For everyone on this call, what Lewis and Damo do every single week with these leverage calls is absolutely fantastic. And they won't ever admit this, but they don't have to do these calls. They do it because they're passionate about what they do. Damo loves teaching, so does Lewis. They love helping people. They love trading. So, gentlemen, thank you very much. I love you both very dearly, and I love your calls. They're fantastic.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you for that. So if everyone can give them some love in the chats, that'd be absolutely amazing, because what they do is really amazing. It's good for you guys. Take advantage of this. Take advantage of these calls. They are absolutely brilliant.
Look at all that love, Lewis. 3 people love us. How good.
That's good.
Yeah.
What I wanted to share
I'll take that.
was you guys would have seen me speak about the volume a few times on Bitcoin. Yeah, do you guys recall? Another thing that I just wanted to point out, and it's something that's worth noting on larger time frames. It's sort of similar to do with Elliott waves and the pushes that you have with Elliott waves. So if you don't know what Elliott waves are, it's just a sequence of sharp impulse moves that happen one after the other. So you'll have a sharp move, consolidation, sharp move, consolidation. But what I'm noticing with Bitcoin is we're still in a massive downtrend, but we're really losing strength for a couple of reasons, right? Eventually, we can't be bears forever. Like, I love being a bear. It's fantastic. But at some point, it does have to flip. We might consolidate and then head back into a bull market. That's just how market cycles roll. But what I'm noticing is the drops. So our first initial drop was close to 50% before our consolidation here. Another drop of 40% for a small consolidation. You'll notice that the drops are getting smaller and smaller each time. We consolidated for ages here, then finally had another drop, 24%. You notice how these drops are getting smaller and smaller. One is because a lot of money has left the market. If you look up the crypto market cap, it's gone from nearly 3 trillion, I believe, down to about 800. I think, Lewis, did you have the?
Yeah, it's
800 million.
Spot on there. Yeah.
Billion. billion?
770 billion right at the moment.
Yeah. So we've lost quite a lot of money in this market, and that's because people don't want to be risk on in the economy right now, which is fine. It's fair enough. So with that happening, we're coming towards what's called capitulation. If not, we already have gone through it. One thing that I found really interesting was, apart from all of these moves getting smaller and smaller, which leads me to believe we're coming to an end to our bear market, is this guy right here. You see this massive volume spike? This is the biggest volume spike we've actually ever had on Bitcoin. Even in the midst of the bull market, when we had trillions of dollars flowing through Bitcoin, this right here within this time frame, 8th of November to the 10th-ish, was a period where Bitcoin was most traded. So you got to think about that. There is a shitload of can I swear? Sorry. There's a lot of people.
You
Sorry,
can't,
guys.
it's fine.
Sorry, there's children on the.
It's okay. It's just a box I got to tick. It's just a box I got to tick on Facebook, on YouTube. It's like, is there swearing in this clip? So the answer is no.
Oh no, you're gonna get banned. You're gonna get Facebook jail.
That's a
lot of volume, right? There is a bucket load of volume in those candles. Now, what you got to remember is, yes, that move was down, but if someone's selling, who's buying? That's a hell of a lot of selling pressure, right? Like, someone's just sold so much Bitcoin. Who's buying it? The big guys are buying. I've been saying this for ages. The big guys are buying because look at the volume that's been happening the last couple of months. I'm coming from an investing point of view right now. I know we love to trade, but guys, be smart right now. The opportunities that you're getting right now, you're not going to see again for a long time. Yes, we may still go a little bit lower. That's fine, but I am very, very happy to buy at these levels. Like I said, it's good to trade, but think long term as well. You're not going to get these opportunities probably ever again. So that's my investing analysis that I want to share with you guys. The pumps are getting smaller. We're losing a lot of money out of the market. We're capitulating. I feel like we have capitulated. I think we are virtually at our bottom. There's not a lot of money left in the market to take. And you can tell by the volatility. They're just taking whatever they can get. There's no structure. It's just messy volatility. That's how you know they're scraping. They're shaking people out. So just something to think about. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Brody, while you're there, can we just pick your brain while you're there, because you can't just walk away with that question time. If you have that, if you do look at that, you look at this current consolidation period as a lot less volatile than the one prior. Which kind of shows you that the arm wrestle is at the top of it. It's not really kind of toing and froing. The arm wrestle is it's just like almost like a hold, isn't it? And you've also got that last consolidation period just above was really quite long. And like if you look at that consolidation period versus every other consolidation period on the way down, that one's the longest, which probably you could look at as the fact that the bulls and the bears really are getting to a point of exhaustion in their arm wrestle. And then, okay, we've had the bears win just a little bit, and it's come down a little bit, and it's kind of, but there's really not a lot of volatility in it. And if you look at where Bitcoin sat for the last month or so, it's between 18 and 16,000, and just the last month. So just below your rectangle box. So it's sat between 16 and 18,000 for some time. So again, if Bitcoin falls back through this zone, you want to really make sure that when you're looking at it rising again, 16 to 18,000, and these consolidation zones that you're seeing here that Brody's kind of highlighting through these rectangles are very much respected in your take profit areas. And, where like when you're forward projecting where you think your trade is going to go, you really need to be taking care of these zones. So yeah, I guess it just adds more leverage to what Brody's saying, and you just need to be smart about what's it actually saying. Like, so Brody's given us the story behind it rather than, oh, Bitcoin's falling or Bitcoin's going to fall to 12, which you hear other traders and leaders say. you're really looking at what is the story. So thanks, Brody, for jumping on. Has anyone got any questions while he's here?
It's got to make sense. One thing that I learned when I got into this early days, and Lewis will remember this as well, to be a trader and an investor in the markets, you've got to be a part visionary and part storyteller. You can't just go, oh, there's my analysis, that's it. No, you've got to try and break it down, and it has to make sense. Like, why is this happening? Where are we at? Don't overdo it, but you need to get a general consensus of the market. And the easiest way to do that is to zoom out. Just zoom out. Stop looking in the 1 hour timeframes and getting caught up in that. Have a look where we're at. Okay, we've had a massive downtrend. We were having massive cascading sell-offs, but now they're shortening. Okay, we're not selling off as bad anymore. And there's a lot of money that's left the market, and you need to consider these things even when you are trading. But from an investing point of view, yeah, definitely. I can't tell you guys to go and buy, but I could tell you what I'm doing, and that's buying. So
yeah, and you also, when you're buying, you got to make sure that you're setting your position where your stop loss is kind of in a place where you're comfortable. So when you are looking at a long-term buy or a quarterly buy, like Brody's alluding to, you've just got to make sure that your position matches your trading plan, what you're comfortable with. Again, don't ever put forward more than you're willing to lose. All those basic things. So yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Also, if you are buying, so say you've got like a big pool of capital, say you got 10 grand you want to buy Bitcoin with, don't throw 10 grand all in all at once. Like, you buy bits and pieces and dollar cost average in. It's gonna work out better if you're long. Like, maybe you haven't picked the bottom. Maybe we do go down to 12K like everyone says, and like you think this is the bottom. Well, yeah, buy a bit now, buy a bit at 15K, buy a bit at 14K. Just keep going until you're happy with your entry, your average entry. So
For
DCA
sure.
that shit. Exactly,
Yeah.
Joel.
I'm just staggering
It's all about
in lots.
So yeah, dollar cost
staggering.
averaging, for those that don't know, is basically putting in the same amount consistently over a period of time, where you're able to kind of balance your losses and your gains at the same time. So another thing to add to your list of things to get to know. Jack, you're back, mate. So let's throw to you for this NFT little security kind of alert special that we've got going on here, and then we'll wrap things up. Do appreciate you hanging around, guys. I did say earlier that I'm actually going to stay on. I'll say goodbye for the purpose of the video, but I'll actually stay on afterwards. So when I say goodbye, you don't all have to press the red button. But I'm just going to stop the recording after when Jack's finished, after I say goodbye. And then if there's any other questions, you feel free to ask. Jack.
Oh, hey, sorry about that before. Yeah, so NFTs, there's been a lot of talk around the Meta Bounty Huntresses, obviously coming up to the reflections paying out tonight. There's been a few people wanting to make sure they're verified and everything like that. So quickly run through this and a little bit of security. When you get onto the metabountyhunters.io site, or you can go from here to the Huntresses, they're both very similar in the way that they work. You can go to get verified, the top bar here, and it will tell you if you're verified or not. You can also look in this top right hand corner. It will have your verification ID. So this is what you send out to your friends if they want to buy into the Meta Bounty Hunter projects in the future. And there was a few questions around the security of the NFTs. So what you want to do is have a burner wallet. Burner wallet is just another account on your MetaMask. So you can have one MetaMask profile and then multiple wallets, in that one account. So you have a burner wallet is what you would actually go to a website to mint the NFTs, and you'd use that just for the minting. So you move your money in there, purchase the NFT, get sent to that wallet, and then move that straight away onto another account on your MetaMask. And that just takes it away. It takes a lot of risk away from that one minting wallet. Ideally, you would want to move that NFT directly onto your hardware wallet, like your Ledger or whatever you're using, to have it secure and off all the exchanges and wallets. Another one is, this is my burner wallet. So I'm happy to show it. You go up to your extension at the top here. You can select this this circle here and change to whatever you want. This is just my MetaMask account. You can see one of my Ledger wallets there as well. You can add more accounts, like I was saying here, if you want as well. So if you don't see this, like this is coming up, and you don't see in your vault any of your NFTs, just make sure you've selected the right account. That all your NFTs might just be on that other profile. Also, once you've finished, it doesn't matter if it's your minting wallet, your normal wallet, just touch on these three little dots here and go to connected sites, and you can see all your connected sites that wallet's actually connected to. Just disconnect it. Make it a habit. Every single time you connect to a website, that you sign that little thing that comes up, just at the end of the day, when you're going off your computer, just disconnect it. It's just another layer of security for yourself to ensure your assets are safe. Other than that, if anyone has any questions, shoot them off
Jack,
in the chat or open.
Can you just reopen that box? It's also a good idea to log out of your MetaMask wallet when you are done with it. So you can do that by clicking on, how do you do it again? Is it clicking on the Fox? Yeah, there, maybe. Is it clicking on the Fox? There's a way to log out anyway. So if you're using MetaMask, I haven't been in a MetaMask for a little while, but you need to log out of your wallet each time you are there, just purely because, or lock it. I think you can lock it. So that's just another level of security for yourself. If you are seeing something in your wallet that you didn't mint or purchase, mint is just the NFT word for buy. If you didn't buy it, chances are that it's going to be some sort of a scam, or something that you want to make sure that you are not clicking on it, not interacting with it. You can hide them, but at the end of the day, as long as you're not clicking on the actual picture or interacting with it, you can be fairly safe. They will disappear in time. That may be there, like suddenly, like if you got 40 NFTs and then you open up and suddenly you got 45, it's like, whoa, hang on a minute, what happened there? And if you go into them, if it looks or feels sus, it probably is in the NFT space. So if you do have any questions with relation to NFT stuff, you've got access to us in chats. A few of us are more experienced, and you can feel free to ask questions about certain things. Like, I don't know who was asking the questions today, but me and Jack and a couple of others were kind of helping out and trying to just kind of make sure that everyone was, just taking care of whoever it was, and feel free to reach out and ask questions. So if you are looking at NFTs or getting into them, you don't know exactly what Jack was just saying, Jack's more than happy to offer his time and support you in that area. I mean, Jack's the holder of at least 500 Meta Bounty Hunters, I think it is. I think he's got the, those little kids that wear the little patch on the front of their undies, wear the little picture on the front. I think Jack wears them on a daily basis. So, yeah, he's one of those guys. He's one of those guys that just lives and breathes Meta Bounty Hunter reflections. So, mate, have the reflections come in yet, or are they coming in through the night?
Yeah, coming in through the night, I think.
Or it'll be a sleepless night for Jack. Sleepless night. He's like
a couple other whales in this chat holding a few more. So
yeah, Brady, you sleeping tonight, mate?
Super keen.
A couple of your holders are like, all right, I want to see how much. I'm actually looking forward to waking up tomorrow morning with 500 messages in the chat. So what's reflections? Like, it'll just go nuts. Greg's keen, so happy days.
Just one thing I quickly add before we close out. People would have heard that there's burning accounts or burner wallets you can send your NFTs to. People say it's safe to do it. I highly say don't interact with the NFTs at all. Just leave them there, forget about it. Like it's fine to just leave them in your wallet. I've heard cases of people burning them and then the account's still being wiped out and stuff like that. So just don't worry about them. Just set and forget, basically. And if you're that paranoid, just set up another wallet and send all your assets to that and just forget about that account. Like you have the ability just to create new accounts all the time. So yeah. And if you're setting up a ledger, make sure you re-verify, especially your meta bounty hunters on there as well. Otherwise you won't get your reflections again. And if you're looking to expand your affiliate reflection network with more people, make sure your ledger account is your affiliate. So make a new verifier ID from there and send that out to your friends instead of sending it to a MetaMask account where basically it could get wiped out if you have a bad experience on there. Yep. So more than happy to take questions outside of here. If anyone's got anything, to shoot us a message and I'll help where I can or direct you to more information. Yeah. But thanks again, Lewis and Damo, for tonight.
Thanks, Jack. Louis, is there anything else, mate?
No, that's big sesh tonight.
Yeah, big sesh. Like I said, I'm going to stay on after this, so feel free to stay around, guys. You don't have to leave. But for the purposes of the recording, I'm just going to say good night. Thank you so much, Lewis. Thank you, Eric, for co-hosting. Thanks to all who's contributed and jumped on in any way and shared a chart or shared their knowledge or whatever. I do appreciate it. On behalf of Lewis and myself, we'd like to wish you and your family a Merry Christmas. So this is the last one before the Christmas. So big ups to you and your family. I hope you all have a safe break and enjoy the time off and all that kind of jazz. And we will be back next week. So thank you so much, everyone. And yeah, feel free to like, subscribe, and we shall see you next Tuesday.
Thanks, guys. Always a pleasure.